Welcome back to our little talk. So I do this quite a bit on my channel. I just come on here and I talk about, being a masked lesbian, having certain ideas and moving out and all these things, and ADHD. But today I wanted to talk about something that honestly has bothered me my entire life. Okay, and judging by the title of this video, you guys know what it's about. But it's about being a bigger person, especially when you're quote unquote gay. Okay, this has haunted me my entire life because, how I was raised was, always be the bigger person. Don't pick the fights, pick and choose your battles, don't step on anyone's toes, be the bigger person, don't say anything because karma will get them back. And here's the thing. The more that I've gone through life and the more that I've witnessed things, being the bigger person does not always serve me. Let me explain what I mean. Recently, I've been unlearning to not be the bigger person. Here's the thing. I've never in my life had the opportunity or acted on being petty. I pick and choose when to be petty. And again, I pick and choose my arguments. But here's the thing. Being the bigger person, you shouldn't do it all the time. Okay? Because when you're the bigger person, you automatically train yourself to sit down and be quiet. That is what being the bigger person is doing. It loses trust with yourself when you are trying to project this person to someone that is not even the real you, right? It's not the real you. And so you end up losing touch with that part of you because you so badly want to speak up, want to tell your version, want to, educate the people that are just being plain dumb. And by you not speaking up and piping up about it is not you, and it's suffocating that part of you that wants to stand up for yourself. This is what I've learned, okay? In an event where you need to stand up for yourself, you need to do it, okay? If you're just being petty, you pick and choose when to be petty, okay? Listen, sometimes we don't even want to wait for karma to happen. We'll do it ourselves. We'll take it in our own hands, okay? And that's something that I've learned too, is that I'm unlearning the part that is blocking me from doing these things. Because here's the thing. Being the bigger person takes a hit to my confidence. And over the years, I've been learning a lot about confidence, and my confidence has been, a lot better than what it has been when I was a kid. And most of that stems from, being the bigger person and not saying anything and, not trying to step on anyone's toes. I'm honestly so fucking done with that shit. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I'm so done with it. Because here's the thing, right? You're trying to prove something, right? But why are you trying to get them on your side? What good are they going to do to you, right? What good is ever going to come from that? A good review, a little handshake, a little promotion. These things should not alter how you carry yourself or how you portray your values. If something is harming you and coming after your character and your values, you better say something about it. Doesn't matter about the money, doesn't matter what people think of you, or shouldn't at least. You need to say what you need to say. You need to get through to that person or the group, whatever you're facing. Because honestly, I've learned that just shutting up about it and not saying anything it hurts you more than it helps you. Truthfully. It might help the other person because they don't have to hear anything about it, but it hurts you. It does. It's every single time I've stand down and not said something, I literally condition myself to hold back and to just take it. I hate that because losing that kind of trust with myself has also affected me in other areas of my life. In terms of spending the money when I feel like my soul needs to spend the money, like booking a trip. I have so much fear. I have so much less confidence, right? Even though I know it's good for me, even though I know anything that's going to happen when like booking a trip or doing something that's scary is going to be beneficial for me because I'm going to learn from it in some way, it has ruined that kind of confidence and like trust with myself. And so that's why I feel like I'm so scared of doing things and new things and stuff, is because like it's damaging my confidence, it's damaging my trust. And like while I'm doing those things, my brain is thinking about what other people are going to think. When I book the trip, I'm like, oh my God, are people going to like me because I'm gay? Or are people going to like me because of my, my character, or, because I'm filming, like they might not like that. Like I'm thinking of all these things. And honestly, that's taking away from my character. That's taking away from who I am. That's my values, right? That's my core. That's my thing. And so all of this is stemming from not standing up for myself and being the bigger person, right? Like, I feel like I've just done that for 23 years of my life, and I'm just kind of done with that at this point. Like, if you're going to say something to me, I'm going to say something right back. I don't care. I don't care about karma. I don't care about... No, I need you to tell me. I need you to feel what I feel and how I feel. And so I'm going to do that through my words. Because, you have a mouth for a reason. Use it. And it's also another reason why I'm so scared to speak up and protect myself. Like when I go into the bathroom, like a women's bathroom, and, as a mask-presenting lesbian, they're like, there's been people who are like, this is the women's restroom, you can't be in here. Or like, is that a man? Did a man just walk in here? Or like, people will say all kinds of stuff, right? And I always just be quiet. I don't say nothing. I go in, I do my business, and I come back out. I look at the floor. I don't look them in the eye. Like all of these things. And they're just, after I have these experiences, I just feel so drained. And I'm like, why do I feel so drained? Like I'm doing it right. I'm not speaking up. I'm not being the bigger person. Like I have control over my emotions, but it's so draining. And journaling about it and like, writing about it, I'm realizing that because I'm taking such a hit for my character, for my values, because, I should really be proud of like who I am, right? But I'm not as soon as I walk into a bathroom or walk into a space where, gay people aren't accepted. Like, I should be proud of the fact of like who I am. And because I'm not speaking up about it, because I'm not talking back, if you will, because I'm being the bigger person, it's draining me physically, mentally, emotionally, and it's taking away from my quality of life, honestly. And I have so much fear, so much anxiety about, going to public restrooms or, going out in public and having people say stuff, or, it's just, there's so much anxiety that I feel every single day because of this. So I'm done being the bigger person on that, because like, that's ridiculous. And if people are going to say something, I'm going to say something right back. And then I did it. I said something. The amount of relief that I felt when I said something, I just felt so good. I felt like, mental clarity. I felt it all just come back. Like it was such a relief. And now I have confidence to correct people and say something and be like, hey, like that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like, because I did it once, all it takes is one time. When you stand up for yourself, when you do something, when you go on in a big adventure, when you take a big risk, all it takes is one time, and then you can keep doing it again. And you can do it again and again without any fear. And that's so amazing. Because that first time, your heart's pumping, your voice is shaky, it's scary. It's scary to stand up to people. It really is. Because I've had such an issue with it for so long. And I'm finally kind of coming to fruition, because like all you have to do is do it once and the coast will be clear. Because you did it once, you gained that trust with yourself. Like, hey, you can stand up for yourself. I feel safe with myself. Like, we can do this again. It gives you that confidence, that trust back. There's also a line of where someone attacks you versus when someone's hurting you, you know, your feelings. When it comes to feelings, it's a little bit of a shaky ground because feeling is just like, it's the pettiness that comes out, right? If you start being petty, that's the feelings that it's getting into. If someone attacks you in your character, in your core values, that's when I kind of say, okay, I'm stepping over the line, I'm gonna say something back. Like, that's kind of how I judge it in terms of pettiness versus protecting yourself, right? Because feelings, it's easy to act on and it's harder to control because, you know, they're feelings, they're emotions. Oh, you hurt my feelings. Like, you know, I'm gonna let you know because I'm feeling these things, right? But if someone's like, hey, I don't like your outfit, that hurts my feelings, but that doesn't come after my character. That doesn't come after my values, right? That's not like, hey, why are you gay? You know what I mean? Like, it's things like that where there's a line of like when to say something and when to not. It's also an issue because, you know, if you don't say something, if you don't clap back, okay, it's sending a message to the other person saying that it's okay. That's okay to speak out into the public air. And it's not, right? You're sending out the message that, oh, we can walk all over you. You are weak. You cannot explain to me why my version is wrong, right? That's kind of how I see it. That's how, you know, you're perceived if you don't clap back. I feel like if my mom or like any of my parents or like my family, whatever, watches this, they're like, oh, no, you should still be the bigger person, you know, and I'm like, you know what? That used to serve me when I was a kid, right? With parents, you know, you didn't want to step on their toes, make them mad. Like that was kind of the thing, right? Although I'll tell you what, sometimes when they got on my nerves and, you know, they were coming after me for some things, that's when I bit back, right? And it's also funny because like now as an adult, God help me if my family watches this, but as an adult, right, I have more brains, right? So I have more argument, right? And I have validity in that because I've experienced things that they haven't. And so, because as a kid, you don't really know, you know, you didn't have that world experience. But like now if they say something, like they already know I'm going to say something back. And so like when I come home, like they already know stuff to talk about with me and not to bring up, you know what I mean? Which is nice, honestly, because I don't have to deal with that. When I was a kid, right, I would have to be the bigger person. I would have to not say something. I would have to control my emotions because otherwise I would probably get, you know, said something or told something, you know, parent things, all the, you know, soap in the mouth, whatever. Now, it no longer serves me because I am no longer in that environment. And that has taken me a couple years to realize is that like I'm in a totally different environment. What I've learned in my past, some things don't apply to me anymore because I'm no longer in a situation like that. I'm no longer in the environment that I was in. And so shedding some of those learned things, some of those beliefs, some of those ideals, right? Shedding that opens up new opportunities for my new environment, and it holds space now because I've learned to show and perceive what has gotten people close to me, right? So by being quiet, by, you know, not saying controversial stuff, it has gotten people close to me because I don't say anything. I don't do anything. I'm the shy one. I'm the quiet one, right? That's how I was perceived in school. That's how, you know, at home, like I was the quiet one. I always, you know, kept to myself because I didn't want to say anything to rattle the cage because, again, I didn't really feel safe in that environment. Why would I say something if I don't feel safe? You know what I mean? So those values, those things I'm trying to unlearn in my hardwired brain because they don't serve me anymore, right? It no longer applies to me. Sometimes being the bigger person is not what you need to be doing. Sometimes it is okay to clap back. Sometimes it's okay to speak up and to represent yourself at the table, okay? Because if you don't, the confidence will be lacked. You will lose trust with yourself, and it will affect ultimately other aspects of your life because of that thing. I'm just sharing what I've learned and what I've been kind of processing and learning about in my mental state recently, because I'm honestly sick of it, and I mentally feel so exhausted all the time, you know, when I'm solo and I'm doing things alone and I have to go through these things and, you know, people start saying stuff. Like, I've just been so drained, and I finally came to terms with, you know, the underlayer of underneath and what's going on and what's happening and why I'm feeling these ways and so drained all the time is because I'm not being myself. I'm being a version of what people want me to be, and it's exhausting, and I hate it, and it's not good for me. So I'm undoing it. That's what's happening in 2025. I'm clapping back. I'm being the smaller person. That's right. Elves, they're powerful. You know? Kevin Hart, powerful. Being the smaller person sometimes is more beneficial. You have more hiding places. Anyways, I'm so done with this video. Yeah, I just want to come on here and say that, you know, if you're gay, if you're, I don't know, ugly, if you're a weird way, and you know, people make fun of you or whatever, sometimes, yeah, it's okay to not be the bigger person. Sometimes you have to force people to see your perspective, your side of things, because they don't understand. They're not you. But forcing them to shift their perspective and to show them or to say something, they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that anymore because that was kind of hurtful. You know what I mean? Just keep that little brain nugget in there. Just keep that in, because you're going to need it one day. And you can come back and listen to this when you need that one day. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Everything is linked down in the description below, including my Patreon page where I post videos, shorts, photos, all those kinds of things. So you can go check that out. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out. Enjoy life. Live it up. Be real.